Title: The Great Egg Betrayal. Why you are eating sick food and how to spot the scam. Camera fades in. Extreme close-up of a cheap pale yellow egg yolk breaking in a pan. It spreads like water. Cut to the host, intense, holding a carton of generic eggs like it's a piece of evidence in a crime scene. The hooks stop what you are doing and go look in your refrigerator. Right now. Grab that carton of eggs you bought because it was on sale, or maybe because it had a picture of a smiling farmer on the label. Read the text. Farm fresh. All natural. Cage-free. Vegetarian fed. You think you bought a health food. You think you bought a product of nature. I am here to tell you that you didn't. You bought a biological lie. You bought an industrial byproduct engineered by chemists and accountants, not farmers. You are likely eating the reproductive output of a stressed, sick, confined animal that has never seen the sun, fed a diet of inflammatory corn and soy sludge, and pumped full of additives to trick your eye into thinking it's healthy. Welcome to the murky, deceptive world of the egg industry. We have cracked open the supply chains of the biggest brands in America, from Walmart's Great Value to the premium labels like Eggland's Best and Vital Farms. We've analyzed the yolk density, the shell integrity, and the chemical reality of what is inside. Today, we are exposing the fake egg economy. I'm going to teach you the science the industry hides in the fine print. I'm going to show you how to test your eggs at home to see if you're eating pure nutrition or just watery inflammatory filler. And we are going to rank the major brands to tell you which ones are scamming you and which ones are actually worth your money. The countdown starts now, but first we have to understand the crime. Section 1. The anatomy of the scam. Before we name names, you need to understand the mechanism of the deception. The egg industry relies on 3 pillars of manipulation: the label, the feed, and the color. The label loophole. The USDA definitions for egg labels are some of the most misleading regulations in the entire food world. Cage-free sounds idyllic, right? You imagine chickens running through a barn. The reality? It's a mosh pit. Thousands of birds packed wing to wing in a windowless warehouse, walking in their own waste, with ammonia levels so high it burns your lungs. They aren't in cages, but they are in prison. Vegetarian fed is the biggest scam of them all. Chickens are not vegetarians. They are aggressive omnivores. They are descendants of dinosaurs. In nature, they eat bugs, worms, grubs, and even small mice. That is where they get high-quality protein and amino acids. When you force a chicken to be a vegetarian, you are feeding it strictly corn and soy. This creates an egg that is high in omega-6 fatty acids, the inflammatory fats, and low in the healthy omega-3s. Vegetarian fed is code for cheap industrial corn diet. The color hack. Have you ever noticed that cheap eggs have pale, sad, yellow yolks, while expensive farm eggs have deep, vibrant orange yolks? That color is beta-carotene and xanthophylls. It comes from chlorophyll in green grass and natural pigments in bugs. The industry knows you want orange yolks, but they don't want to pay for pasture. So what do? They biohack the color. They add marigold extract, paprika, or even synthetic dyes to the corn feed. They can dial in the exact Pantone shade of the yolk using a color fan in a lab. They are painting the inside of the egg to trick you into thinking the chicken was healthy. The structural failure. A real egg has a thick, gel-like albumin, the white. It stands up in the pan. A fake, industrial egg has a watery, runny white because the protein structure is weak, a result of the hen's age, stress level, and poor diet. Now that you know the science of the scam, let's look at the perpetrators. We have ranked the 9 most popular egg options from biological hazard to liquid gold. The investigation, brand ranking, Nutter 9, Great Value, the commodity standard, the villain of the pantry. Let's start at the bottom. Great Value, and essentially any generic store brand egg labeled Grade A Large, represents the absolute baseline of industrial cruelty and nutritional void. The reality. These eggs come from battery cage systems or high-density cage-free conversions. The birds are treated as biological machines. They live their entire lives in a space smaller than a sheet of printer paper. They are stressed, immune-compromised, and pumped full of antibiotics to keep them alive in unsanitary conditions. The science. Because these hens eat the cheapest possible commodity corn and soy, the lipid profile of the egg is distorted. The yolk is pale lemon yellow, a sign of almost zero carotenoid content. The white spreads across your pan like water because the protein bonds are weak. There is no richness, no creaminess. It is just sulfur and vague egg flavor. The verdict: this is barely food. This is a macronutrient delivery system designed for maximum profit. If you are baking a cake where the egg is just a binder, fine, but do not scramble these and think you are nourishing your body. You are eating the physical manifestation of stress. 8. Eggland's Best, the chemical illusion. The Frankenstein egg. Next up, the brand that claims to be America's #1 egg, Eggland's Best. You see the red stamp on the shell and you think quality. I see engineering. The reality, Eggland's Best doesn't necessarily farm better. They feed differently. They use a proprietary high-tech feed formula designed to boost specific metrics on the nutrition label. They add fish oil, algae, and industrial vitamin supplements to the grain. The science. This is what we call fortification, not natural nutrition. It's the same logic as taking a pile of sawdust, spraying it with a multivitamin, and calling it a superfood. Yes, the label says more vitamin E and more omega-3s, but these nutrients are coming from the feed additives, not from the bird's natural biology. The hens are still confined. The yolks are a standardized medium yellow color because the feed is mathematically consistent. The verdict: you are paying a premium for marketing and a vitamin pill inside a shell. It is a processed food masquerading as a whole food. If you want vitamins, eat vegetables. Don't rely on a factory-farmed chicken to synthesize them for you. Dr. 7. Kirkland Signature Cage-Free, the bulk illusion, the warehouse myth. Costco's Kirkland Signature is beloved for value, but when it comes to eggs, cage-free is a trap. The reality. As we discussed, cage-free is a regulatory term, not a description of lifestyle. These hens are in massive aviaries. They never feel the wind. They never touch the soil. The air is thick with dust and dander. It is a slight step up from battery cages because the birds can walk, but do not be fooled. This is still factory farming. The science. Crack one open next to a great value egg, and you will struggle to see the difference. The yolk might be a shade darker, but only barely. The flavor profile is flat. The whites are still prone to being watery. Why? Because the diet is exactly the same as the battery cage hen, corn and soy. The only difference is the hen stretched her legs a bit more. The verdict. You are paying a guilt tax. You pay a little more to feel like you aren't torturing the bird, but the nutritional output is nearly identical to the bottom-tier eggs. It's better than a cage, but it's not a good egg. Number 6, Happy Egg Co. The free-range lie. The marketing masterclass. Now we enter the tricky territory. Happy Egg Co. markets itself aggressively with bright yellow cartons and the term free range. The reality. Free range is another legal loophole. The USDA requires that free-range birds have access to the outdoors. It does not specify that they must go outdoors, or that the outdoors must be a lush pasture. Often, access means a small pophole door at the end of a massive shed that leads to a concrete pad or a small dirt patch. In a barn of 20,000 birds, only the aggressive dominant ones near the door ever see daylight. The science. You will notice the yolks are getting darker here, more golden. This is partly better feed and potentially some birds getting some sunlight. The whites are slightly firmer, but when you scramble them, do they taste buttery? Do they coat your mouth? Not really. They taste like eggs. The complexity isn't there because the diet is still predominantly commercial grain. The verdict. Better than cage-free, but overpriced for what you get. You are buying the idea of a happy chicken, but you're getting a bird that mostly hung out indoors eating corn. The pivot, the pasture revolution. We are now crossing the line from industrial confinement to pasture-raised. This is the only label that matters. Pasture-raised, specifically certified humane or vital farm standards, requires 108 square feet of outdoor space per bird. This changes everything. This isn't a door they can use. This is a lifestyle where they live outside. But even here, there is a hierarchy. There are 5. Vital Farms, the corporate giant, the McDonald's of pasture eggs. Vital Farms changed the game. They mainstreamed the 108 SQFT standard. But recently, something has changed. The reality, Vital Farms went public. They are on the stock market. When a mission-driven company becomes a publicly traded corporation, the priority shifts from maximum quality to quarterly earnings. They now coordinate over 200 farms. Scaling pasture-raised eggs is incredibly difficult. The science. Longtime consumers have noticed the standardization of Vital Farms. The yolks are becoming uniform in color. Nature is not uniform. If every egg in the carton is the exact same shade of orange, that implies feed management is overriding foraging. The shells are still thick, and the whites are miles better than Kirkland, but the wild factor is fading. The verdict. This is the safe, accessible choice. It is a good egg. It is a responsible egg. But is it the best egg? No. It is the mass production version of a good thing. It's the gateway drug to real food. But the flavor is starting to plateau. 4. Pete and Jerry's, the regional network, the honest middleman. Pete and Jerry's operates on a model of partnering with small family farms in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. The reality. Because they rely on regional distribution networks, the eggs travel less distance than a national brand. Less travel time means fresher protein structures in the albumin. The science. Here is where we start to see seasonal variation, and this is crucial. In the winter, Pete and Jerry's yolks might look paler. In the summer, they might be deep orange. This is a good thing. It proves the hens are actually reacting to the environment. If your eggs look the same in January as they do in July, the bird isn't eating from the pasture. Pete and Jerry's transparency in this seasonal fluctuation is a badge of honor. The verdict. Excellent value. You are getting a fresher product that reflects the reality of the season. The flavor is richer, earthier, and the whites hold a poach beautifully. Number 3, Handsome Brook Farm, the organic purist, the verified standard. Handsome Brook Farm takes the pasture model in layers on a strict USDA organic certification. The reality. Many pasture eggs are not organic, meaning the supplemental corn, soy they eat could be GMO and sprayed with glyphosate. Handsome Brook ensures the pasture and the supplemental feed are organic. No pesticides, no synthetic fertilizers on the grass the birds peck at. The science. This is about toxic load. Fat is where animals store toxins. An egg yolk is pure fat and cholesterol. If a chicken eats pesticide-laden grain, those toxins concentrate in the yolk. By going organic plus pasture, you are ensuring the cleanest possible lipid profile. The yolks here are consistently dark orange, rich in natural beta-carotene, and the flavor has a clean mineral finish that lacks the sulfurous aftertaste of cheap eggs. The verdict. This is the top tier of the supermarket shelf. If you have to buy your eggs at a grocery store, this is likely the safest, most nutritious bet. Number 2, local pastured eggs, the farmer's market, the wild card. Now we leave the supermarket. We are talking about the carton you buy from a cooler at a farm stand, usually with a handwritten label. The reality, these hens are living the biological ideal. They are likely moving paddocks every few days, rotational grazing, which means they are always on fresh grass with new bugs. They are eating crickets, worms, ticks, and clover. The science. The nutrient density here is off the charts. Studies have shown true pasture eggs can have 3 to 6 times more vitamin D, 3 times more vitamin E, and a 2.1 omega-6 to omega-3 ratio compared to the unhealthy 20.1 ratio in factory eggs. The sensory experience, the yolk of a local summer egg is almost red. It's sunset orange. The white is so thick it's hard to whisk. The flavor is savory. It tastes like meat, like broth. It has umami. This is what an egg is supposed to taste like. The verdict. If you can find them, buy them. They support your local economy and provide nutrition that no factory can replicate. But there is one better. 1. Backyard eggs, the gold standard, the biological peak. The number 1 egg isn't a brand, it's a relationship. It's the egg from your backyard or your neighbor's backyard. The reality, this is total transparency. You know the chicken's name, you know it ate the leftover kale from your dinner and the beetles off your rose bushes. You know it has zero stress. The science. Freshness is the key variable here. An egg loses nutritional quality and structural integrity every day it sits. Supermarket eggs can be 30 to 60 days old before you buy them. A backyard egg is often eaten within 24 hours. The enzymes are active, the proteins are pristine, the bloom, the protective coating on the shell, is intact. The verdict, this is the holy grail. It is practically a different food group than great value. It is medicine. The home test. Are you eating fake eggs? You don't have a laboratory, but you have a frying pan. Here's how you audit your eggs tomorrow morning. Test 1, the drop test. Crack the egg onto a flat frying pan. The fake. The white runs out immediately, covering a huge surface area. The yolk flattens out like a pancake. This indicates old age, weak protein, and a watery diet. The real. The white stays tight and gathered around the yolk. There is a visible inner ring of thick albumin. The yolk sits high and round like a semi-sphere. Test 2, the color audit, look at the yolk, the fake pale yellow, or a weirdly uniform synthetic-looking orange that looks like highlighter ink, a sign of dye. The real, a rich, deep golden orange. If you buy local eggs, look for variation. One yolk might be darker than the other. That is the sign of a natural, varied diet. Test 3, the shell crush. When you crack it, does the shell crumble into dust? That's a calcium deficiency in the bird. Does it snap with a sharp, clean break? That's a healthy bird with strong mineral intake. The final truth. The egg industry relies on your apathy. They bank on you looking at a 99-cent price tag and thinking, an egg is an egg. They are wrong. An egg is a capsule of potential life. If that capsule is built from cheap corn, stress hormones, and antibiotics, That is what you are putting into your blood. If it is built from sunlight, green grass, and natural proteins, it is a superfood. Your action plan: stop buying great value, generic, or cage-free eggs. You are throwing money away on garbage. Look for pasture-raised as the minimum entry-level requirement. Check the carton plant codes or buy local Josh backyard whenever possible. Don't let them feed you the illusion of health. Eat the real thing. Check your pantry. Do the test. And stop eating the lies. Fade to black with the sound of a crisp eggshell cracking.